The following podcast will contain spoilers, tangents, hot takes, and excessive foul language. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, horror fans, and welcome to episode 294 of Frightmares. I'm your host, Austin Proctor, and joining me today for 1976's Carrie is John Vogt.
Hey, what's going on? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yeah. I am very excited for Carrie, because I know some things and some stuff. I won't let everybody else know what's going on just yet, but I know some things. And some stuff about your feelings about it. So I'm excited to talk about it because they're going to be wildly different, and that always makes for great conversation. And I think we might have done this one way back when we did like a couple Stephen King episodes for like episode 7 and 9, I think, were Stephen King episodes. I know we did like The Shining and stuff like that, but we might have done Carrie. Usually for a movie adaptation, I would read the book. Totally forgot to do that this time, but I remember enough of it to know the differences here. The main big difference is the ending from the book to the movie. It's pretty different than what happened in the movie. So there are elements that are the same, but how it all comes to a head is a little different. So my history with Carrie, the original, I'm pretty sure I saw the Chloe Grace Moretz one, or Chloe Moretz Grace, whatever the fuck her three-namer is. I'm pretty sure I saw that one first, before I saw the original Carrie. Still haven't seen the 2002 Carrie, and the Rage Carrie 2 is a certified fucking slap if no one has ever seen that from 1999. It's a direct sequel to the 76 version. And doesn't involve a Carrie White, because as we will get, you'll understand why it doesn't involve a Carrie White once we talk about the movie. So right. I'm pretty sure I saw the remake first, because my history with horror in general is just complete madness. Because like we discussed on the Halloween episode, pretty sure I saw the 2007 before I saw the original. So I think that's what happened with this movie. And I've watched this one quite a few times, I think. Let me double check here. Probably since I've been rating movies on Letterboxd, I think I probably watched it like once a year. I'm a really big fan of Brian De Palma. I think he makes some killer movies. So yeah, I've logged it. So I logged it June of 2021, and that legitimately might have been the first time I've seen it. I don't know. I started logging movies in 2019, so odds are if I saw it before then, I don't even know. So I think I legit might have watched it for the first time 3 years ago, or 4 years ago now. It's 2025. I keep forgetting. So,
barely.
I know your history with the movie, but why don't you tell everybody else the history with the Carrie from 76?
Yeah, so like you, I've watched a lot more modern horror than some of the vintage stuff. And I was assigned to watch this movie and then just watched it like 4 days ago with my wife. So excited to talk about this because I know we don't see eye to eye on everything. So this will be a good time.
Yeah, I always really do enjoy it when there are varying opinions on a movie, because I get to explain why I like it. You get to explain why you didn't really like it, which it always works out. And it's not like my goal to, it's never my goal to be like, this is why you should like it. No, it's just I'm telling you what worked for me, and you're going to tell me what didn't work for you. But with this one, I do have plenty of dislikes, and it's not really necessarily about the movie itself, but just about some character choices. Like if someone were to do that in real life, like what the fuck kind of decision is that? We'll get there. So first up here, since we're doing things slightly different, as I mentioned on last episode, we're going to go straight into what did Jason Hill make me watch for this episode. He has given me a movie from 1976 to go along with the Carrie from 1976, and this movie is called Grizzly. It's essentially Jaws, but with a bear. So, an 18-foot-tall grizzly bear terrorizes the state park, leaving Ranger Mike Kelly, photographer Allison Corwin, naturist Arthur Scott, and chopper pilot Dan Stober to track down the beast. Meanwhile, the body count rises. This was such a fun little movie. Again, I don't know where Jason finds these movies. I have never heard of Grizzly before in my entire life. And I really enjoyed it. The effects were pretty fun. You can clearly tell, for the most part, that it's just a guy with, like, a bear arm on, you know, like, because it's from 1976. So it's either like a little prop that they have or some dude in like a bear suit, you know, and the way they're editing it together is great because you'll see like the arms swipe at the camera and then it'll, you know, turn around to the person being hit and they'll just be like boom and then blood goes everywhere. Yeah, it was really good how they cut it together. Kind of surprising. What else did I like about it? Yeah, there was great shots of like real bears like standing on their hind legs, like massive grizzly bears. Really good time. I'm trying to see if I can find fucking Jason's rating. Let's see what else. And also I'm not going to say in what capacity, but a rocket launcher is used in this movie, and that's where I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to say what or how, but a rocket launcher is used in this fucking movie. There was a lot of dialogue, and the pacing was not the best, but overall, it was a fun time. I gave this movie a 3 out of 5 with a heart. Jason has given it a 2 and a 2.5, which is weird. So I don't know. Because anytime I change my rating on a movie, I'll go back into my log and correct every other one. Because for me, it doesn't make sense to give a movie 2 ratings. So it seems that he watched it in July of 2023 and gave it a 2. And then February of this year and gave it a 2.5. So it seems to be going up in his in his ranking, which is fine. The movie itself has a 2.7 out of 5 on Letterboxd. You can watch this on Prime, Tubi, Freevee, and Plex. So you can watch this motherfucker everywhere. It is a super great time if you want a fun little horror movie that you don't really have to pay attention to. It's something you can put on. It's just good mindless fun. There's plot, but like it's not important, you know. It's a bear. At the end of the day, it's about a bear attacking people. So, again, that is Grizzly from 1976.
Jason says, "Check it out. You'll probably hate it."
Thanks, Jason. Let's move on to some of the Oscar winners and highest-grossing movies of the year for 1976. So, the highest-grossing movie of the year was Rocky, bringing in $117.2 million. The highest-grossing horror movie for 1976 was The Omen, bringing in $60.9 million. So this was the 49th Academy Awards, took place on Monday, March 28th in 1977, honoring movies that released in 1976. Best Actor goes to a man named Peter Finch for a movie called Network, which I've never even heard of. Actor in a supporting role goes to Jason Robards for All the President's Men, which I have heard of. Best Actress goes to Faye Dunaway for Network. Fun fact, Sissy Spacek was actually nominated for Best Actress and obviously lost, so sadly. And then we have Actress in a Supporting Role, Beatrice Straight for Network. And another fun fact, Piper Laurie was also nominated for an Oscar for Actress in a Supporting Role for Carrie. So that's fun. Cinematography goes to a man called Haskell Wexler for Bound for Glory. Best Director goes to John D. Avildsen for Rocky, and then Best Musical Score goes to Jerry Goldsmith for The Omen. So The Omen actually won an Oscar for score, which is really cool. And then Best Picture goes to Rocky there in 1976, which I watched to talk about for a little bit on this episode, because I just like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest from last episode, I had never seen Rocky before in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never seen it. It's just one of those things that never really appealed to me. I don't know. You know, I had heard the theme music before. Bum, 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 bum. You know, I heard that. And I'd seen the, like videos of him like running up the stairs and doing that. It was so different than I thought it was going to be. It was so different. I thought it was going to be boxing, but there's 2 boxing matches in the whole movie.
Yep.
2 boxing matches. There's one in the beginning, and then the one against Apollo Creed, who, not gonna lie, legitimately thought was a real boxer. He's a fictitious he is a fictitious boxer. I did not know that. Yeah, I did not know that. And yeah, so the movie itself, though, was really good for not really involving boxing nearly as much as I thought. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good kind of, it's a guy down on his luck. No one believes in him. Everyone seems to be like just not discarding him, but everyone just doesn't seem to be interested in him because he's not doing anything with his life, and no one has any faith in him. And then he finally, puts everything together and says he's going to fight Apollo Creed. And then everyone kind of rallies around him and starts cheering him on. And it's a very interesting story. Spoiler alert, but I mean, it's not really a spoiler alert because it's fucking 49 years old at this point. I didn't know Rocky lost, though. He loses in the end. Yeah. I was like, wait a second, hold on. That's so weird. But it honestly, it didn't affect my opinion on it. I just thought that was so interesting that he loses. So I bought a box set of the first few movies that I'm excited to go into further. I'm also going to be doing Rocky 2 on Michael's podcast, the Shameless Picture Show. That'll be releasing sometime in February, I think. So that's exciting because, I really enjoyed Rocky. Gave it a 4 out of 5. I think it has like a 4.2 out of 5. It's got an insane rating.
It's a solid movie. The first 4 are actually really good.
Yeah, I
didn't care for the 5th one that much.
That's the box that I have is the first 4. Yeah, it's got a 4.1 out of 5. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. 4.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd, so it's definitely worth the watch. You can watch it on Plex, but that seems to be the only place to find it right now. So yeah, Rocky was an interesting time, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the IMDb Roundup. So this is Carrie from 1976. Released on November 16th of that year in the U.S., rated R for moderate sex and nudity, severe violence and gore, moderate profanity, mild alcohol, drugs, and smoking, and severe frightening and intense scenes. Coming in at an hour and 38 minutes, listed as a horror thriller. You'll have to excuse me, I'm battling the plague right now. Holy shit. I'm fucking dying over here. Directed by Brian De Palma, who also directed Sisters, Scarface, and Raising Cain. Written by Lawrence D. Cohen, who wrote part 1 of the It miniseries, the Tommyknocker miniseries, and Carrie 2013. Composed by one of the greatest composers, I swear, Pino Donaggio. He's fucking awesome. He also composed Tourist Trap, The Howling, and Raising Cain. Cinematography by Mario Tossi, who also did the cinematography for Frogs, Sybil, and MacArthur. Edited by a man named Paul Hirsch, who has done some things, man. He edited Star Wars Episode 4 and 5. He edited Creepshow. He edited Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Raising Cain, and Lake Placid. That is a fucking resume right there. That is some solid movies. Starring Sissy Spacek as Carrie White. She's been in a lot of things, but she was also in Blast from the Past as Helen. Then we've got Piper Laurie as Margaret White. She was also in The Faculty as Mrs. Olsen. We have Amy Irving as Sue Snell, who's actually in the sequel, The Rage Carrie 2, as Sue Snell, which is fun. Which is really fun. We've got William Catt as Tommy Ross, who's also in House as Roger Cobb. A very, very young John Travolta as Billy Nolan, who everybody should know, but in case you don't, he was in a little movie called Pulp Fiction as Vincent Vega. And then we have Nancy Allen as Chris Hargensen, who's also in RoboCop as Ann Lewis. RoboCop is literally one of the greatest movies of all time. I fucking love RoboCop. Estimated budget of $1.8 million. Worldwide box office gross of $33.8 million. Not too shabby. Movie was filmed in various cities around LA, California. You can watch this on Plex. Movies that came out around the same time, we have Assault on Precinct 13, Alice, Sweet Alice, Rocky, Silver Streak, King Kong, A Star is Born, and Mikey and Nicky. Have you ever seen Assault on Precinct 13?
No, but I know it was a remake too as well, and I never watched either one of them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they made one in 2000, 3, 6, something early 2000s. Like Ving Rhames is in it. I think like Ethan Hawke. I think it's like those dudes.
I thought you meant the one from 76 was a remake. I was like, is it a remake? No, yeah, there's one in 2005 with Ethan Hawke, Lawrence Fishburne, Gabriel Byrne, John Leguizamo. Oh wow, Ja Rule.
Yeah, of course.
Rule, jeez. Yeah, is it really a 2000s horror movie if there's not one rapper in there? I mean, come on. Yeah, the original John Carpenter Assault on Precinct is a fucking crazy movie. It is so good. Is Ving Rhames in the old one? No, he's not. When you said
I thought he was in the new one. I thought he was in the new one.
Yeah, for some reason that sounds right. It sounds dead on accurate.
They just shoved him in a bunch of like action movies like randomly in the early 2000s, and you're just like, of course he's here. So they all start blending together.
Maybe you're thinking of Lawrence Fishburne. I don't know, but that is an interesting cast: Ethan Hawke, Lawrence Fishburne, Gabriel Byrne, and John Leguizamo. That is interesting. I'm gonna have to see if that's streaming anywhere. It's on Prime. You can rent it on Prime. Maybe one day. Oh, let's see. IMDb summary: Carrie White, a shy, friendless teenage girl who is sheltered by her domineering religious mother, unleashes her telekinetic powers after being humiliated by her classmates at senior prom.
It's the night of the senior prom. The Bates High School gym is alive with excitement. Everybody is there, even Carrie White, the girl no one likes.
Oh, sorry about this incident, Cassie.
It's Carrie!
And everyone makes fun of her.
Carrie!
The girl who lives in that creepy house with her crazy mother.
Help the sinning woman see the sin of her days and ways. Show her that if she had remained sinless, the curse of blood would never have come on her.
The girl with the strange power.
If I concentrate hard enough, I can move things.
But tonight, no one will laugh at Carrie.
If you don't have a date for the prom next Friday, would you like to go with me?
She's with the best-looking boy in the senior class.
He's trying to trick me again.
She'll be voted queen of the prom.
You know, I can make sure that you don't hurt Carrie White anymore.
For Carrie, it will be a dream come true. For everyone else, it will be a nightmare. Carrie. A new film by Brian De Palma. Based on the chilling bestseller. Starring Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, and introducing John Travolta in his first motion picture role. If you have a taste for terror, you have a date with Carrie.
I think it's interesting because now, obviously, this is based off of a book from Stephen King, but I think it was a misstep to put the telekinetic powers in the IMDb summary for people who haven't read the book, and maybe they don't know about it. That would have been, it's just like the same problem I have with Abigail, I think you shouldn't have said she was a vampire. Yeah, I think it was a slight misstep to throw the telekinetic powers in there. It should have been like unleashes her rage after being humiliated by her classmates at senior prom. Because if you watch the movie not knowing she has telekinesis, that's a whole different fucking movie. So that's just my opinion on it, whatever. But overall thoughts on the movie, John, what do you got?
I honestly, man, I thought this was a really awkward watch. And I know it was remade recently, and I haven't seen it. But I mean, there's something here. This is definitely a cool idea, cool plot, and everything. Just a girl who has a shit fucking life. It is just not, everything is going against her. Her mom is super strict, doesn't like her. She's getting bullied at school constantly, all that stuff. And it's kind of tough to watch, but it is very satisfying to see her get her revenge finally at the end.
Yeah. Good for her.
And then when she kind of comes down off that high, her mother wants to murder her, and it's just what, she can not catch a break this whole time.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of scenes there. We'll talk about a couple later on that it's just the acting is just a little it's a little tough to watch. The cinematography gets weird at times. Like there's that scene when they're actually at the prom or the dance, whatever it is, where there's just a lot of spinning. And like my wife was watching it with me. She's like, I'm going to like throw up because they're just like, they were spinning and the camera was spinning to like accelerate. And they just like stuck on that scene for such a long time.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, man, like I get it. Like reel it in. If there was interesting dialogue going on here, cool. But there wasn't. There's the scene with Travolta in the car, like beating his girlfriend while he's trying to like make out with her and stuff. And like, it's just, there's just like a lot of weird stuff in this movie that I was just like, it kind of takes me out of it a little bit.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I mean, like I get it. I get what like the appeal and everything. I am curious to see like what the difference is in the book, because I have a feeling that would be more appealing. And if I'm not mistaken, that happens a lot with Stephen King, right? Like his books, just like at whatever they make it into a movie or a TV show, like they kind of stray away from like what he wanted to do. But just not my favorite.
The thing with Stephen King is a lot of his endings just aren't great, to be honest. So the thing that gets changed the most is the endings and a lot of his work. Unless you're Stanley Kubrick, then you just change the entire movie because Kubrick was
Kubrick.
Yeah, because he was I don't know if most people know this, but he was actually classified as a genius. He had an IQ of like over 200. Like the man was actually like a brilliant man. And I think that's why his movies work so well and they are so well received, because like I said, he's a fucking genius. I'm not just saying that because I think his movies are good. He had a very high IQ. So yeah, I mean Stephen King. We all know Stephen King hates fucking Kubrick's Shining, but he's actually on record as saying he likes the ending more in this version of Carrie than his book, because this was either his first book published or like second or third. It was a very early book for him. I believe it was his first book that he ever got published. And I think there's a story that goes along with that where he got so fed up writing it that he threw it away, and his wife found it in the trash and was like, you need to finish this and get it out. So if it wasn't for his wife cheering him on, we may never have gotten Stephen King, because if he would have just thrown that away and just given up, who knows? So that's pretty interesting for sure. Let's see. My overall thoughts is I think this is a wonderful adaptation of good source material that also does its own thing at the same time. And I think it's shot by a criminally, I don't think he's necessarily underrated, but I don't know. De Palma, for me, he's just a very talented filmmaker, and I love the style of how he shoots his movies. I did want to do a quick rapid fire stream of conscious real quick that I had through the movie that I don't know why I did this on this episode, but I've got like 5 points that I just thought were hilarious. Number 1, girls don't frolic around in locker rooms like it's the fucking Playboy Mansion. That doesn't help. That doesn't happen.
Austin, how do you know?
I confirmed with my wife.
You get inside source.
Yeah, I got an inside source, man. The girl's not helping Carrie when she gets her period is fucked up. Teacher smoking in school is absolutely hilarious. Fuck everyone at this school, including the teachers who are rude to Carrie. This is the definition of fuck around and find out. And dirty pillows are the wackiest name for boobs I've ever heard in my life.
Austin Powers uses that term, and I was like, wait, somebody else actually used this term? That's the only other time I've ever heard them call that.
Dude, yeah, and in the book, she says dirty pillows so much more than she does in this movie. And every time I hear it, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I'm like, can we stop saying this phrase? It's the fucking worst. So as I did for the last movie of the Stepford Wives, I kind of concocted a theory about how it's related to Rosemary's Baby. This one I didn't really have a theory, but I did search the internet to come across one that I really enjoy. So I'm going to tell it to you, and you can tell me what you think. So the theory is from Screen Rant. That's the website I got it from. They said it was pulled from a subreddit, but I could not find that Reddit, so could not give that person credit. It suggests that Carrie and her mother have the shine from The Shining. Based on similarities between Carrie and Abra, in Dr. Sleep, Abra is a very powerful shine user who displayed exceptional telekinetic abilities when she was a child, but her powers seemed to fade as she grew older. However, when Abra entered her teenage years, the shine returned and it was stronger than ever. Same thing happened with Carrie, who was a small child. She displayed these same abilities and was even able to summon a rain of rocks that came down on her house, but as she grew up, her powers faded as well. It wasn't until she was a teenager that they came back, and they were very strong. Both Carrie and Abra became more and more powerful, and in both cases, their powers got out of control when they were upset or angry. So if Carrie has the shine, then Margaret has it too, and there are hints of it in the novel. Margaret had visions, which she attributed to visions of God due to her extreme religious beliefs. Just like Jack, who also had it, but to a lesser degree. Danny and Abra, who was revealed to be Danny's niece. Margaret's shine wasn't as strong as Carrie's, but it certainly became more dangerous, not because of the shine itself, but because of the religious fanaticism and constant abuse towards her daughter, which along with them, lacking a mental figure like Dick Halloran, contributed to Carrie's snap, the chaos in town and the deaths of both Carrie and Margaret. So I really like that theory. I think that's a fun fan theory. So what do you think about that?
Considering I've never seen Dr. Sleep, not yet. Oh, okay. It was on my list for the podcast and everything. It's going to be hard for me to have a comment on that.
Damn it, John. I can't believe you haven't seen Dr. Sleep. You've seen The Shining, right?
Yeah, just give me 3 hours. Just hit pause on this episode real quick. I will go watch it. I'll come back and let you know what I think.
Yeah, that is a long, especially the director's cut. The director's cut is about 3 hours. So, yeah, that's a theory I kind of enjoy. I think that's definitely possible, especially since both are novels of Stephen King, and it wouldn't be surprising if Firestarter was also kind of in that same universe, because Charlie and Andy in Firestarter also have telekinetic abilities as well. So Stephen King loves his telekinesis, man. I don't know what it is.
It's kind of the best superpower I think you could have. So.
Oh yeah, hard agree.
Right.
So first up for likes here, I really need to mention how goddamn good the Scream Factory 4K looks of this movie, because holy cow, it is a great transfer. It looks super clean. So shout out to Scream Factory for doing the Lord's work. Just like the Stepford Wives, I don't know what it is with the 70s and the zooming, but I love the zooming. Why did this not trickle out into the 80s and beyond? I don't understand. The zooming, like the nice, huge, long zooms, just like is like a 70s thing, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why that stopped. I think it is such an effective shot. Maybe the lenses are just too fucking expensive. I don't know. Some of the other shots that I really like that are kind of director trademarks of Brian De Palma are the split diopter shots. For anyone who doesn't know that phrase, it is a shot that has two distinct focal planes that are in focus in one shot. So it's usually someone close to the camera and someone further away. Those shots are so goddamn good. Those are still around to this day. But those zooms are just not. I don't know what it is. And then De Palma also has another. I wouldn't say his trademark is a diopter shot, but his trademark work as a director is definitely those split screen shots where you have two images on screen. That is something he does in like most of his movies. I love those shots. I think they add a sense of, especially at the end when she's killing everybody, it adds a real sense of unease because you're watching her face like just like go crazy, and then you're watching all the doors shut and everything go haywire. So I think it's a great I really enjoy that. I'm definitely totally on Miss Collins' side, being super curious about Tommy asking Carrie to prom. Like, it's totally valid because of what happened to Carrie in the locker room. So Miss Collins is a true fucking hero because the principal was disgusted that Carrie had her period. He was like, ugh. Like, dude, dude, come on. And then
he just kept saying that. He was like, Cassie, and you're like, no,
it's Carrie. God,
it's Carrie. All right, sorry, Cassie, it won't happen again.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So he was a fuckwad. And then even the I think it was the English teacher, when Tommy was, they were going over like Tommy's poem or whatever, and she spoke up, and the teacher's like, oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Like, fuck all you
Mocking
people.
Her.
Yeah. Fuck all you people. It's the definition of fuck around and find out, because they all found out pretty quickly.
Yep. Definitely enjoyed her revenge for sure. She deserved it.
Yeah, like I said earlier, good for her. The rebellious nature that she has against her mother, I do like that as well, because in a small way, in a very small way, it reminds me of me in my childhood, because I grew up in a very religious home, obviously not with parents who would lock me in a fucking closet. That's not what happened, everybody. Let me not give a false, idea of what happened, but I rebelled against them a lot. What?
Did you have a googly-eyed Jesus too?
No, thank God. Oh. No googly-eyed Jesus, no repressive parents. Parent. I also have both my parents, but it just reminded me of kind of rebelling against my parents and the whole religion thing. Also, without the telekinesis too. I did not have the telekinesis either.
Not yet.
Not yet. Who knows? Oh shit. Also, speaking of the googly-eyed Jesus, did you see the imagery at the end of the movie because that Jesus was kind of penned up a certain way with a whole bunch of arrows in him, and at the end of the movie, when Carrie is throwing all those things at her mom, she's penned up in almost the same exact manner with all of the of the stuff in her. I was like, that is really good imagery right there. I
didn't even pick up on that till you just said that.
I didn't pick up on it until this watch. I don't know why, but I didn't pick up on it until this watch. So the slow buildup of the story is also really good too, especially if you don't know that she has the telekinetic powers, but again, we know from the summary. You get little glimpses here and there that something is kind of going on. The light over the shower kind of flicks, the mirror, she cracks the mirror, and then a couple other small things happen, and you don't really get the full view of it until she throws her mom on the bed. And she obviously by that point is finally figuring out how to channel that telekinesis. And it's really fascinating to watch because her mom does not want her to go to prom, whatever, or whatsoever. And then she's like, no, I'm going, and then throws her mom on the bed twice. And you're like, yeah, she's in control now. I think she's going to.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate that, because you can obviously see the entire time that she just has a bad life, and you're like, maybe. And honestly, so I actually thought that was his name Tommy? Was he the guy that took her?
Tommy's the guy that took her, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was all just a cruel ploy.
Yeah.
So initially going into this, I thought that this was that he was in on all this stuff with the pig's blood and all that other stuff. But it seemed pretty genuine that he didn't actually want to hurt her or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you just finally she was able to stand up to mom and all that other stuff. It was pretty cool. I hate when they in movies when there is something as subtle as these little signs of her having these telekinetic powers, and they do that harsh sound to look, there's something on the screen you should be paying attention to. Look. I kind of hate that. Let me just see it and figure it out on my own. I don't think you have to dumb it down all the time. Maybe every once in a while, but the first shot in the shower, like you said, there was a noise. There was another noise later in the movie. I don't know if she was in the kitchen or something like that, but then obviously it escalates as the movie goes on, and then it stops when mom's getting thrown around on the bed, with her dirty pillows and everything. But yeah, I mean, but it was still a fun movie. We'll be talking about dislikes here in a little bit, because I have quite a few of those. But.
Oh, I can't wait. And speaking of, and kind of piggybacking off of what you said about Sue and Tommy, I think that was the intention, to kind of give you the idea that they were in on it, trying to be part of the cruel prank, but coming off sincere. But there's 2 points in the movie that you can tell that they were being genuine people. So, and they both take place at prom. When Sue shows up to kind of, check on how they're doing, she goes behind the stage, and there's a tracking shot of the cord that goes, and she's looking up, and she looks very confused, and then she sees them under the stage, what's going on? But she doesn't have time to give much of a reaction, because the gym teacher is like, dude, you shouldn't be here, and pulls her back.
Right.
But when the bucket drops, all the blood, you can see Tommy look at her and then look up, and there's no dialogue, but he's like, what the hell? So, at that point, okay, they weren't in on it, but it's definitely set up to make it seem like they were. But no, they just wanted to do something nice, because even when Sue is the gym teacher, she says, Mrs. Collins, she's like, all right, guys, so what's going to happen is you guys are going to get 3-day suspension, and you're going to be not going to prom. or you can go to detention, you know, and basically go through like boot camp and do all this extra shit. You can see Sue's face. She's really thinking about what happened, and I think she's really reflecting about it and realizing that that was really fucked up. Meanwhile, Chris Hargensen is like, oh, this is fucking bullshit. I fucking hate Carrie White. Like, maybe do some reflecting, Chris Hargensen, because you are a real, true piece of shit. Not a fan of her at all. So, yeah. Let's see. I got a couple more things here. Yeah, the revenge is so satisfying, I think. Now, my only real problem with the revenge is that, you know, some people that were there probably shouldn't have died. But it is what it is. And especially Miss Collins. Like, Miss Collins, I think this is the only version where the gym teacher dies. That was a huge blow. I was like, oh, not Miss Collins. She was a genuine person who cared about Carrie and wanted to help her. So I didn't like that. But yeah, I think that a lot of extra people probably died that probably didn't deserve it. But, you know, what are you going to do?
How about the scene where how he got the pig's blood? I was not expecting that. Yeah. I was thinking he just like came into it. No, the motherfucker took a sledgehammer into the pen and just slaughtered an animal. Like, oh my God.
That truly brutal. That's truly unhinged behavior. You didn't just go try to source it somehow. Nah, you murdered a defenseless animal just to get the blood. Like, not even to, I mean, who knows? That pig probably would have been slaughtered for food anyways, but like, can you at least take some of the fat with you to make some bacon or something? Make it worthwhile. Don't just take the blood. That's psychotic bullshit. Jesus Christ.
Sledgehammer.
A sledgehammer. Not a gun, not a knife, you know, a sledgehammer. Holy shit, dude. Unhinged.
Yeah, that was a pretty brutal scene.
Totally unhinged. I think the white dress because in the book, I believe the dress was red. I'm pretty sure. But and technically the dress color was a light pink in the movie, but it looks white. And I think that was a really good idea to contrast with the bright red blood because it really popped on the dress. That was good. And then let's talk about the ending real quick of the likes, because I do like this ending a little bit more. So in the book, Carrie dies in Sue's arms at the roadhouse where she was conceived because Margaret tells Carrie that she was basically raped by her husband, and that's how Carrie came into this world. And
she liked it. She even said she liked it.
Did she?
Which is such a weird scene. Yeah, she was talking about the whiskey on his breath, and she's like, and I liked it, and then I prayed for forgiveness. Like, she goes into that weird. Yeah,
I must have missed that
along
line.
The lines of her like liking the whiskey on his breath before she got like. Right?
Yeah,
just before she tried.
There's something that Margaret has more than a few screws loose. I think she has a few screws holding everything together. Yeah. So Carrie. So Carrie dies in Sue's arms in the book, and then in the movie, Carrie brings down the house on her and Margaret. Now, this is also kind of true to the book because you see rocks coming down on the house. So that is actually still from the book, but that Carrie did that when she was younger unintentionally. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so then the house gets brought down, lit on fire, and then there's a little sign that says, you know, house for sale. And then the fucking people wrote over it, Carrie White burns in hell. Like, goddamn, guys, you guys are fucking brutal and ruthless. Like, she is dead and you're still fucking with her. Leave this girl alone. Leave her alone. Fucking ruthless.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that too. Like, even after everything she did, that they were still fucking with her grave.
It's a bit much.
Yeah, just unnecessary.
It's a bit much. That's like over the line. I mean, the whole period thing at the beginning was over the line, but fucking with her after her death is just jumping over the line. So
after everything that happened,
right?
Like, you still want to play with that fire?
No,
what the fuck?
I would not. Yeah, after the entire thing that happened, I mean, I guess it was probably people who heard about it and was like, yeah, fuck her for doing whatever she did. You know, I guess everyone else is off the hook for being a complete fucking douchebag to her, but whatever. I guess that's beside the point.
Right.
Was there anything else did you have any other likes that were not mentioned so far that you wanted to bring up before we move on to dislikes?
Yeah, I mean, I just like to shout out the PBR because I'm a big fan of PBR, so that was cool to see. And to see when they were just casually driving down the street, tossing beer back and forth, and he was trying to hide it from the cop.
Oh,
that just felt
70s.
like such a 70s thing that like you could not do now.
No. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's move on to dislikes here. I think it is very weird to sexualize high school girls, regardless of their real life age. It is very weird to go to a locker room that is the high school girls and show all of them naked. That is so bizarre, especially Carrie, especially Carrie's scene in the shower. That's like the starting to a porno. She's like rubbing herself all sensually. I'm like, this is supposed to be a 17-year-old, guys. This is so weird. I'm not into this at all. So
no, but I could see why. Like, I mean, you have to figure that like a lot of material was harder to come by back. No pun intended. Was harder to come by back in the 70s and everything. So these movies, that was like a good way to get the teenage boys in there for to sneak in and get.
I mean, the sex appeal was a real thing back in the 70s and 80s, but it's just bizarre to do that. So I'm not into that. I'm also not a fan of every Carrie adaptation using a very attractive girl to play Carrie. Sissy Spacek, Angela Bettis, and Chloe Grace Moretz are all very attractive. I mean, most of them are unconventionally, pretty, but nonetheless, like I for Mike Flanagan's miniseries, I just need him to use just an average, regular-looking girl because all the girls who have played Carrie are extremely attractive.
Right.
So it's not very true to the book. Also, I'm not a fan of people weaponizing religion, especially against children, to get them to be obedient and scaring them to behave. That's more real life shit. For the movies, I get it in the movies, for some things, but like in real life, I'm not a fan of that in real life. And the last thing I have was Chris getting slapped across the face by Billy and then proceeding to give him a BJ is wild behavior. That is,
dude. What? That whole scene just so like you're like, why are we watching this? It was just like so toxic, and he's like, "What? We do this all the time."
Yeah,
and then she's
like, "I hate Carrie. Why? I hate Carrie.
I hate Carrie." I'm like, okay, well,
and
why am I watching this?
And doesn't he go what or something like that? Doesn't he say? I think he says what? Like, why are we talking about Carrie when you're you're going down on me? It's so weird.
Right. There's a lot of talking here, right? Let's just get back to the task at hand, and we'll talk later.
Also, a BJ in a car with the windows rolled down and no tent is also wild behavior. Like, what's happening, guys?
The 70s, man, that's what they used to do. Just go to the drive-in, do that kind of stuff. I mean, maybe not like, domestic abuse or anything, but probably just fool around.
It's like the only movie where I don't like John Travolta because he's kind of a tool in this. Not a fan
He's such a douchebag the entire time. His dialogue is so awkward, and he just the words that he uses, he called her like it's the way he delivered it. And I can't recall any of the specific lines now, but every time he would talk, it was just like kind of like a cringy moment because you knew nothing good was coming out.
Yeah. And now in his defense, though, this was his first big movie. He had done some TV work, like some TV series and TV movies before, and I think he did one other like theatrical movie. So this was like his basically first big role. So I'll give him some slack because his line delivery wasn't the greatest, but still, he was still a shit character. I did not like him at all.
What year did Grease come out?
Grease was
78. I just looked it up. 78.
78, really? Oh shit! I
wonder who saw Carrie and was like, you know what? This guy would be perfect for a musical.
I guess the director was like, him. He's the one.
I found it.
Yeah, I found it. This is the guy. All right, what do you got? I can't wait to hear all this. I'm so excited.
Right. So like I just wasn't. I don't really know what the plot was aside from just some girl that gets abused and really abused like the entire movie. And is it just to like make you feel really bad for her and then you feel good when she does finally get her revenge? The revenge scene I thought was really underwhelming.
Oh, wow.
From the stills that I had seen, because obviously it's no secret this movie's been around almost 50 years now or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like the stills that I've seen, I'm expecting, some like crazy over the top kills. She just smacks some people around with a fire hose and walks real slowly with a fire behind her all dramatically. that's about it. Like, and there's people falling all over each other. There's people that get electrocuted and stuff. And I just wanted more. That's all. I think I just wanted a little more. And I know it's a different time and all that stuff. And they didn't get as graphic all the time back then. But that you didn't really see a whole lot. It was just like implied. You get smacked with a fire hose and then they get locked in a burning gymnasium and that's it. She goes home and I did like, I forgot to mention this. I did like John Travolta's exit. That was pretty badass where she flips the car and blows it up and all that stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe do you remember there's a scene where he's getting the tuxedo and like it like randomly speeds up. Did this happen in yours or did something happen with my internet that I don't know? It like speeds up to like a chipmunk voice there for a second and then slows back down.
That was not supposed to happen. I don't know what happened to yours.
Well, the movie was fucking weird. So like I didn't know if they were just putting that in there. But it like speeds up. It looks like it's intentional. Like it doesn't, it didn't lag like normal internet did. It just looked like something was wrong with the videotape. You remember those days when it would like scratch and do it? That's what it looked like. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of weird interactions and everything. We talked about the, how John Travolta was with his girlfriend and all that stuff. And it's just the dialogue's weird, the acting isn't great, and that's why I when I had my podcast, like why I prefer modern horror. You tend to get a better product with effects, acting, shots, all that stuff. And I don't know, I just found this one a little underwhelming.
So I'm looking it up because I'm just seeing if it's a problem. Apparently, at 52:44, when Tommy and his friends are getting tuxedos, their dialogue briefly speeds up to chipmunks' tones, and someone is commenting saying, "It is intentional, it's not a mistake. Although it's not a comedy, the scene was intended to be comic relief." I did not ever notice that, so now I'm going to have to go, after this episode is done, immediately go to that fucking timestamp and see, because I did not notice that. That's hilarious. Good eye, dude. I didn't fucking notice.
It's just so random. You're like watching this movie and then it does that and then it goes back and you're like, what the hell? Why was that even in here? It doesn't even make any sense. So
did I just blip into another time, like dimension or something?
Dude,
are worlds colliding right now? What the fuck is happening?
Right.
Anything else you got?
No, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
So I have my hot take is and this is in no way any shade to Piper Laurie. She is a phenomenal actress, but I actually prefer Julianne Moore's performance in the remake of Carrie. I just think Julianne Moore, my God, she is, I don't know, she's just, in Carrie, the remake is not that great. It has its moments, but it's not that great. But I just think that she is a fucking powerhouse in that movie. And I really like that performance. You have any hot takes with this one? I mean, that it's not as good as it's rated, I would assume.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. It's just, this is another one of these, highly rated, highly coveted horror movies from the past that I think it's just overrated.
Fair enough.
I like the premise. I like the revenge factor, but the rest of the movie is just kind of hard to watch.
Okay. Hooked for me is when, and this isn't really like, it's a weird moment for me to be hooked, I think, but it's when Miss Collins threatens to suspend all the girls for 3 days and refuse their, I don't know why, but I was like,
smacking them around.
Yeah, I was like, look at this teacher taking the initiative and like, taking it upon herself to like have the, because she has that power, you know what I mean? As a teacher, she can do that.
Yep.
So that's when I was hooked into the movie. Like, finally, someone's going to bat for Carrie White. I love this, and that's when I was really like, yes, I'm into this movie. Was there a moment, even though you weren't too big on this, that did get you hooked in?
Oh yeah, immediately. It's the slow motion boobs and bush scene that opens the movie. I looked at my wife. I was like, "Are we watching the right movie? Like, did we put the right thing on?"
You get credit bush in this. Like, what? Hold on.
Much. It just keeps going. And then, like you said, the weird, just like over sexualization in the shower. You're like, is this a horror movie? Like, when do we get to that stuff?
When does
yeah. And then, I mean, once you're there, you're like, I'm watching this to see the end. You already know how it's going to end. So, I just kind of wanted to see the revenge scene.
So is the lost moment for you basically the prom scene because you expected it to be better than what it was? Is that a moment where you were like, no? When was lost? What was lost for you?
I wasn't really ever lost. Okay. This movie, I mean, it's just not something I'll rewatch. It's not something that I hated by any means. It's just, I don't understand why it's as highly rated. I mean, there's people praising it on IMDb, calling it one of the greatest horror movies of all time. But if you flip the rating and everything, there's a lot of people that agree with me and just say that it's overrated. There's, it's kind of a messy movie and bad acting, same things that I said, essentially. Plus, there's like also 4 pages worth of reasons why they hated it. But I mean, it's just it's kind of a weird movie, bad acting. Sometimes there was the odd cinematography and everything, but. No, I would never say I was actually lost.
Okay. Horror moment for me is at prom, but it's specifically the moment when we get the split screen shot of Carrie's manic face and her shutting all the doors, because I was like, shit's about to go down.
That was cool.
It was a great door slam, and she's looking around at all the doors. I'm like, oh, it's not gonna be good for anybody in here. What about you?
Yeah, she knows, but they don't. And and they don't. That was kind of a cool scene. She finally gets some revenge on Mom. She got stabbed in the back, and then she said, I've had enough of your shit. I'm going to, turn you into a little fucking pincushion here with this knife and this butter spreader thingy and just like all these things. She was just flinging into her mother. I was like, she's good. You can stop now.
You did it.
Shit.
It happened. You are good.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good moment too. My favorite kill is Chris and Tommy. It was just so satisfying. I remember watching this like, fuck, they made it out of prom. Are you kidding me? And then they come across her on the road and she's like, boop, and the car just flips and explodes. And I'm like, oh, sweet, sweet revenge. Such a great
that was
shot.
Mine as well.
Oh, perfect. Yep. Okay. So favorite character for me outside of Carrie, because I don't know. Maybe I'm just privy to Sissy Spacek. I think she was the perfect, even though she is, like I said, very pretty, I do think she was the perfect choice for the 76 movie. But it's got to be Sue and Tommy, because they were genuinely good people and they wanted to help out Carrie. And also, fuck it, throw Miss Collins in there too. Like, those 3 people were so good and genuine, wholesome people amidst everyone being fucking assholes to Carrie for literally no reason. Not a reason. She didn't do anything to anyone. Until the end.
Right. And I mean, and they were so over the top with it too. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like minor bullying. Like, it's like everybody was out against her. And then she'd get home and then Mom was against her too.
It was just
for everything.
It's a relentless onslaught of just hatred for Carrie.
Yeah, you just felt really bad for her. Carrie was probably my favorite. It was nice to see her get hers. I mean, Miss Collins is up there as well, because she was like the one, beacon of light there that would help her out.
Perfect description. Least favorite character. If your least favorite character is not Chris Hargensen or Billy, I have serious questions for you. Email me at stayspooky@outlook.com. Because if it's not either one of those characters, unless there's a worse one that I'm missing, I have questions. So that's my least favorite character. It would be Chris, and then Billy, and then probably like the teacher principal as like a third, because fuck both of them. You're in a position where you shouldn't be doing shit like that. You're an adult.
Right.
Do better.
Right.
So what about you?
Mom.
Oh, shit, I forgot about Mom.
Yeah, Mom was my least favorite, yeah.
Fuck. I guess technically that is the right answer. I guess I have questions for myself now. Fuck me. God damn it. No, I guess it should be Mom, because, you're supposed to be... Yeah, no, it's Mom. All right, my bad. You know what? I fucked up. I spoke too soon, and you corrected me immediately, and I appreciate that. It's Mom.
We covered everybody in the movie, because there's so many awful people to hate. So
that's true. I think that's also the thing. There is so many people to hate that you kind of forget about. You should really be hating the mom, because she should be the one... that is there for, that is there for her, that is protecting her, that is, building her self-confidence. But when she gets home, all that any self-confidence she did have just goes down the shitter because she gets locked in a fucking closet. All right, it's Mom. There we go. Thank you.
Dude, the ending, like after she has her like break finally and all that stuff, and she's like, she just comes home, she gets that bath, and she like, I just want my mom, just hold me. And she's like, well, time to tell you about how you're a mistake and how your dad was an alcoholic and, you know, practically raped, made to have you, and you were a mistake. I should have killed you a long time ago, then stabbed, you know?
Yeah, you're just like, oh my God, this woman cannot catch a break.
No, fuck. Even the ending, she dies with vomits. Like, she couldn't even get away then. Yeah. Poor girl. Yeah.
Sad story. I didn't. My favorite line isn't really a line. It's dirty pillows. It's just
mine. Yep. Same.
So ridiculous. Fucking dirty pillows. I'll never get over that line. Also, I wanted to shout out PJ Souls, because PJ Souls is in this movie as well as kind of a more minor character, but you can always tell which one PJ Souls is, because when everyone is dressed up in a line when they're doing those jumping jacks, all the girls have on the same outfit, but PJ Souls is fucking rocking those red bottoms and the red hat, and like you can just clearly find her immediately. So PJ Souls, who you would probably know as Linda from the original Halloween. That's like her biggest role. But shout out to her. She's awesome. Anything else?
Even a prom, she had the hat on.
Yeah, she's always rocking the hat. Like, I get it. Like, I wear hats all the time too, but probably not to prom. I'm just saying, I would be, doing something with my hair. But,
yeah, you're not also a high school girl, so
not that you know.
Right, not today.
Joke's on you. I'm 3 dogs in a trench coat, man. Anything else? Well. Yeah, thank you. Anything else you'd like to mention before we kind of wrap up here?
No, man. No, it was, it's always good to revisit the classics and everything, and just maybe the next time I watch it, I'll like it a little more. But yeah, all these movies are always worth watching. That's all. If you haven't seen it before and you still want to watch it after we talked about every single aspect of this movie, check it out.
That's what I always tell people. I see in horror groups all the time, like, is this movie worth watching? And even if I don't think it is, I will always comment, any movie is worth watching to get your own opinion on it. You know what I mean? Like, I might hate it, but you might love it. And I believe that. And if you don't like something, then revisit it. You know what I mean? I always try and revisit movies that I did not like the first time. And if I don't like it the second or third time, then I'm probably going to stop watching it because, it's probably just not for me. But I do try and revisit things. So with that, we will move on to the post-review stuff here. Got a couple taglines. Take Carrie to prom, I dare you. You will know her name. If only they knew she has the power. And if The Exorcist made you shudder, Carrie will make you scream. I like that one.
Ooh.
Trivia, while speaking at a book event in Fort Myers in Florida, 2010, Stephen King recalled that he was paid only $2,500 for the movie rights to Carrie in 1976, which may seem very small, but he says he has no regrets. I was fortunate enough to have that happen to my first book. Oh, there we go. It is his first book. Okay, first published book. The name of the high school is Bates High, a reference to Norman Bates from Psycho, 1960. In addition, the 4-note violin theme music from Psycho is used over and over in the film.
I did pick up on that a lot. They used it a lot in this movie.
Yeah. While filming the
Anytime they did the telekinesis thing, that was the noise.
That was the noise, from Psycho, yeah. While filming the bloody prom sequence, Sissy Spacek's trailer was parked behind set after being covered in fake blood for continuity purposes. Spacek refused to wash the effect off. She elected instead to sleep in her bloody clothes for 3 days of filming. That is commitment.
Jesus Christ.
That is commitment.
How did she not win something?
Right? I mean, she was nominated, right? She was so close. The dizzying camera shot during the prom scene was achieved by placing William Catt and Sissy Spacek on a platform that was spinning in one direction while the camera was being dollied in the opposite direction.
Oh, yeah.
Like I mentioned before, the ending of the movie is different than the book, and Stephen King actually likes this ending more than his book. The prom scene took over 2 weeks to shoot and required a total of 35 takes, and the split-screen finale took Brian De Palma 6 weeks to cut together. So there's one shot that I don't know how he did it, because the split screen of Carrie Carrie's on the right, and then she slowly moves over to the left. And I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? You cutting film together? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Goofs, I could not find anything worth mentioning. Rated 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 3.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd, has a 94% on the tomato meter and a 77% audience score. John was gracious enough to download the Letterboxd app and rate movies on a scale of 5 because I made him to. Because I made him. I said, download
and I'm
the app.
desperately trying to open up my app to find out what the hell I rated this. Jesus Christ.
So when you find it,
why don't you go first?
All right, I gave this movie a 4.5 out of 5, and I'm waiting with bated breath to know what you gave this movie.
2 stars.
2 stars. Oh wow.
2 stars.
Woo! Yeah, you definitely didn't like that. Okay.
No.
Similar movies according to Letterboxd, we have Carrie, 2013, Carrie, 2002, Ma, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 2010, and Halloween, 2007. Similar movies according to IMDb, we have Carrie, 2013, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, Rosemary's Baby, and Pet Sematary. That is a wild mix of movies, if I'm being honest. I cannot believe Firestarter is not on either one of these, because that is basically the same movie. Different story, but right. Did you happen, I probably forgot to remind you, but did you happen to get any funny reviews?
I looked and I was combing through the 1-star reviews and they were all like legitimate. Nobody just being an idiot that I found. So I bailed.
That is totally fine. I think I have 5 or 6 here. So 4 stars from Maria. It says Matilda took a dark turn, which is hilarious. I like that. 4 stars from Fran. I 100% agree with the teacher who hit a student. Same. Right? Agree with that. 4 stars from Mia. Am I supposed to feel sorry for those annoying ass bitches? Because I sure as shit don't. Facts. 5 stars from Snail Emoji. It's just a snail emoji. It says someone needs to tell male directors making films about girls in high school that they do not run around the locker room completely naked with their pussy out.
Yeah,
allegedly. So that also backs up my claim of women not doing that. I forgot I had that one. And 3 stars from Pube. What? Pube. Ew.
Pew.
No, Pube. P-U-B-E.
Yep.
Nobody told me this was a period piece, but
That's the best one.
That's why I saved that one for last. Well, John, this is typically when I would ask when I could hear when or where people could hear the sultry sound of your voice on your podcast, but it is sadly done. I mean, you can go listen to the backlog. You've got, close to 100 episodes. So go tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, any streaming platform, nothing got taken down. Little Hops of Horrors on Spotify, Amazon, all that stuff. Yeah, all the episodes are still there. It's still there, and they will remain there.
That's what I love about podcasting. It's like when I'm dead and gone, I'll live on through my podcast, baby.
Yep. Somebody will hear my voice 100 years from now.
Right.
Hopefully not, but you never know.
Did you ever have an Instagram? Did you?
I did, but I was tired of getting. I got a lot of people fake profiles,
really?
Messaging me, saying like, I think you're super hot. Click this link. I'm like, no.
Because I went to tag you in I went to tag you in the year-end review, and I was like, am I stoned or did he never? I was like, I went into fucking existential crisis mode. I was like, have I been tagging a different account this whole time? Did he even have an Instagram? What's happening? So, okay, I got it now. All right, cool.
Yep. Took it down.
So if you enjoy the show, please rate and review on your favorite podcast app of choice. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Slasher app at frightmarespodcast. Our email is stayspooky@outlook.com. You can also follow me personally on Letterboxd at Dr. Proctor. Now that John has a Letterboxd, where can the people follow you?
Lord of Beer.
Lord of Beer. I love that. Next week, me and Michael will be back doing Eraserhead from 1977, and I am very stoked because this is another movie that I haven't seen, and it's been on my list for a long time, so we're going to knock that out of the park next week. And until then, guys, stay tuned and stay spooky.